Hello there, my name is Anthony Barocas for StreamTech. Today I have a very interesting conversation with Priyanka Garcia, a local social media content creator, producer, filmmaker who is creating her own path in this burgeoning media production industry. She's got a lot of really cool tips in terms of meeting people, networking, building relationships, and in producing that social media. Let me bring Priyanka on. Priyanka, thank you very much for joining me for today's conversations. Tell me a little bit about the type of media work that you do, first off.
Yeah, so I do a wide variety. I would say anywhere from commercial content, music videos, documentaries, and your everyday reels and social media posting are like my four main genres.
Which do you feel the worldwide audience is most hungry for these days?
I would say overall reels. That's what I've seen a lot of growth in. We've actually moved all of our other concepts in the direction of reels. So we'll do documentaries and we'll break them up into reels. We would do music videos, break them up into reels. Or like every sort of genre that's kind of big, we break them, we try to understand like, okay, what's the client's goal? If the goal is always impressions, lead generation, awareness. And if they want all of that, I have to make reels for all of them. And then, put them out, in TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, Facebook Reels, and just everywhere so everyone can find them. Yeah.
So do you use the reels to drive traffic to other media or like the longer form media, like the documentaries, like you said, or do you use the reels as much as standalone?
They actually are more of a standalone. I've seen more results that way. We do it for music videos. We can drag people to the full music video, but overall we see like the actual video lives on their website and, the client's website or the organization or the person or their YouTube channel. And the reel maybe directs them to the YouTube channel, but most people want us to direct us to their website where they have the video, but they really have who they are, like their regular website. And
right.
We see the reels, I guess they're not like, hey, we're going to take you to the video. They're going to take you to the goal, whatever the goal is for that.
And what do you leverage as the call to action? Do you like have something in what they're saying? Is it part of the graphic over top of what their video? Is it in the description? Where do you find the best call for the call to action?
So every industry is different. But for example, like one of our clients, she sells like purses. So the call to action is like, first we have to be like, it's like a purse with a lock. So it's like a concealed carry purse. I don't know if we can say that. Yeah, we can say this on channel, right? But like it's that type of purse. So we go into like a fun video of how to organize your purse with it. How is it different? And it's just like colors and props and then the concealed carry element. And you're just like, if you're interested, you want it. If you're not interested, you're not going to watch it. The ultimate goal is you see it and you're like, wow, this is cute. And then we go into straight to the direct sales, like get into that, that or, and then the captions below. We don't want to fill the page with like, that. We just put on the below like, hey, get 20% off with this code.
Okay.
Yeah, like it's not in the video. The video is more like fun, playful, fast moving. And the caption below has the little promo, and then it's just all gets, there's a link when they click it to the website the call to action page. Does that help?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Because, I see a lot of people trying to jump into reels, and it amazes me that reels are done so differently by so many different people. It's different things for different people. And I've delved into it a little bit myself for this channel where I'll take a tidbit of a product review or a tutorial, and then I'll just put my logo at the top. and with the YouTube, just trying to indicate that, if you're watching this, the rest of it is on YouTube, and this is what it's called. If you just happen to come across that one reel, because I kind of think each reel kind of has to stand on its own, be its own little island. It's hard to have a campaign because we can't really control reels.
Yeah, you have to kind of run it with ads. I guess sometimes we run our reels with ads. The ones with that like particular campaign, we'll throw an ad to it. But if you do it all sales, it's not fun. No one's gonna look at it, right? You gotta have it.
Right.
Like, we did instructional videos on how to self-defense videos with the owner talking about self-defense. So she would talk a little bit about it, and then the link to the YouTube channel will be there.
Okay.
And then just things people could buy. One of the items is the purse if you're concealed carrying, and then other items from other vendors and other people in the community. So it was just and it also connects everyone. When you name drop other companies you work with, it's like you're getting their followers. Everyone, we try to push for overall community collaborative posts. They just do better.
Oh, absolutely. Do you leverage hashtags a lot?
That's actually been going down. We use them, but nobody likes seeing them. And people nowadays, the algorithm is so strong, you don't even need how the hashtag was a way to find the topic you want. But now
Right.
The algorithm is smart enough to give you that topic without focusing on the hashtag.
Right.
And I'm not an expert in it, but I've just noticed that we're not seeing much results when we take them out or we add them.
Interesting, because I'll see some posts and there'll be this wall of hashtags in it, and other posts, not a single one. But I've come across both of those pieces of video the same way. So I think that really does speak to what you're saying, is that the engine has gotten smart enough and has enough information about us and the content that it can create that match without having to have us search for a hashtag.
Yeah, exactly. And you usually write it usually people's captions are kind of they're in hashtag in a way now.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you create this content, in terms of producing this content, I know do you think when you're creating the longer form content, are you thinking of the reel? Are you thinking of the vertical slice? Or do you have to sometimes try and make it fit from the content you already created?
Depends on each one. But normally when I do hey, I'm going to create reels, then I know I want to ask her all these questions. I want to break them into reels. I have a plan of action. But if it's hey, here's a documentary type video, I'm going to focus on the overall story, not just trying to break it up. And then once I'm done with the overall story, I'll find the golden pieces and use it. That might be 3 reels, it might be 7 reels. It depends on that. But I usually don't, I kind of price here's the video and I'll give you some reels. And I'm
Right.
I'm just it depends on it. Because the whole goal is they hired me for the overall video, the horizontal video. So I do that and then I'll cut it up and give it to them, depending on what I find is golden material.
Do you handle the social media campaign, or do you just hand over the content?
We do both, depending. I have a partner. She's a social media, she's been in social media for 20 years. And so we work kind of hand in hand. I do a lot of the, tweaking, figuring, double checking the demographics, working with the client and creating the content, the script writing. And then she handles the actual campaign. And we kind of she lets me know, we do A/B tests usually, seeing what people like, and then funnel the one that did the best the first week and put more money in that one versus just have one but not really sure if that's the best.
So in terms of the reels that you're creating for your clients, most of those are part of ad spend, it sounds like.
The ones they run as campaigns, not all. I do educational reels and stuff like that. Not most of my reels are not ad campaigns, but the ones that are looking for when we think of video, we think of hey, commercial video or this.
Right.
When you're running a commercial or you're running a campaign, that's the type of video that if you're spending a little extra money to make it fun and creative, that's the type of video you push out more and you put in that ad money to get results from, versus like someone just talking. Then you're not going to get the same, you're not always going to get the same interaction results. So we would have most of our videos are regular reels, like simple with someone talking with graphics and like all of that. We shoot all 4K cameras, lighting, and everything. But our campaigns are a little more fun, energy, like very much in like sound design as well. Yeah.
So, in terms of when these campaigns go or when these reels go out, like I did several reels, my first try at reels. I did several reels from one of my videos. I think I had 7 of them or something like that. And I went on YouTube and I was like, yep, reel. And I uploaded them all. And the first one got amazing views and none of the rest of them got any views. So it was like YouTube had this nice thing where it's like, it's expecting them over the course of time. It wasn't expecting a brain dump.
Yeah. That's why I've taken over social media posting for my clients. I actually, and if I'm not doing it, the budget's not there, I give them a calendar. I'm like, post it on these dates with these captions and these, logos. You can tweak it up. Don't change the graphic and try to keep it on those post dates. And, they want to tweak the captions, that's fine. Make it a little more their tone. But I do find that is a huge problem. If you dump all your content, even now, I want to post, I have 2 photos that are great. Let me post them. No, you have to post one, wait, a couple days, and then post the other. You're going to get overall more results, and, the algorithm is, going to work with you, even though it's always changing. I would say.
And I found that through learning.
You can repost them.
What?
You can repost them. Delete them and repost them.
Okay, hadn't thought of that, but okay, that makes sense. Because it was just interesting that since then, I would post one in the morning and post one in the afternoon, and each one got their own like little blip of traction. And that worked much better than just uploading them all in a row. I had thought they would all go into a pool and, just sprinkle around. But that first one, YouTube was like, hey, everybody look at this. And then after that one, YouTube was like, nah. It was very interesting. They don't work. They don't work the way other videos work. It's like if I upload a bunch of videos, like long form videos to YouTube, they each kind of get their own exposure, because each one has a different topic. Each one has a different, whole body of text and everything. And each one finds its own audience. And I find reels work very differently.
And the reason why, if you're curious, is because the YouTube videos are search engine optimized, people asking questions. The reels are just data that people who might be interested in what you're saying, they're going to give them, that. But they can't funnel like 30, 40 of those. They can, throw them, and you know what I mean? Like when you look for something on YouTube, you actually type what you're looking for. It doesn't just come to you. The reels, they're naturally coming to you. I don't even know. I don't know how even easy it is to search for reels. I think they sometimes pop up on the side if you search, but like they're generated for you.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point that, how do the reels come up? Because I wanted to show someone a reel that I had watched, and it's hard to refine a reel. It's really hard. It's like, oh, here's this drummer, and he did this really cool thing. And I'm looking, and there's like no thumbnails. You can't control the thumbnails on the reels, at least on YouTube. And it's like, I can't find it.
Yeah, unless you follow them, which is the goal. They want you to follow and subscribe to the people you like, which is great because it promotes YouTube in a way that's, hey, you can't really say, even Instagram, it's hard to save a reel you like. You have to like actually send it to your friend at that moment. I send stuff to myself all the time so that I can find it.
Yeah, exactly. You'd have to like share, grab that URL, message it to yourself, and then it's like, okay, here are the ones that I liked.
Yeah.
So if you're doing the social media, getting away from the video production moment for a moment, what tools do you like for your scheduling?
There's multiple. So I personally, like I said, Noemi handles it as far as the scheduling goes, but she uses a variety of tools. You can use it, like Canva offers it now. There's softwares like Metrical that can do it. There's a company called Thrive. There's multiple tools on how to schedule it. I was like, hey Noemi, you're great at this. You handle this portion. I'm gonna, get into this, this side, which is like, I'm gonna learn more about the marketing section for this particular client and what its demographic is. So we'll tag team it.
And then also, I'm using Buffer, which is a very basic tool, but I've been using it for years and years and years. I'm used to using it, and I know how to like lay out a couple days of content in advance. So it's like that part works for me. But finding tools that specifically deal with Reels is a little different than a tool that's good at posting. Especially considering that different social media avenues have different concepts as to what a reel is. Because it's like, if you want to upload a 61-second reel on YouTube, that's a video.
Yeah. It's a video everywhere.
Oh. Well, it's a video everywhere. It's a video, but if it's 61 seconds, YouTube will not put it in my Reels column. They'll put it in the videos. And Instagram, oh yeah, that's a vertical video. Or that's a reel. And that's just like, there's no consistency.
Yeah, and like YouTube's are like shorts, right? So like there's also different names for these concepts. I know like Facebook bought Instagram, and like everyone kind of has their own, like Facebook offers Reels now. Yeah, I agree. I was like, yeah, Instagram, I can't even post. I used to be able to post the horizontal videos, like the 2-minute long videos, and now they turn them all to Reels. And I'm like, I can't post a video then. I'm not going to post it with the black bars. So I found like a hack of like, and this is me personally. I should probably ask Noemi more about this. But I'll post the video, and on the next thing I'd post a photo of the whole crew. So that will help me, because it's a slideshow. It'll help me have the first video, the first image as like a video playing in the horizontal.
Oh, okay.
So that's my little hack. And it also, like, I do a shout out to the crew, so it kind of works. So I do both. But, it's not by any means perfect. And they are always changing. They're doing broadcast on Instagram. Things change. And these applications like Metrical and stuff, they're doing it fast, but it takes a time to like update the whole software as well.
Right. So yeah, I know from live streaming, it's like Facebook decides on a Friday afternoon that they're going to change the API, and everybody who had a live stream on Saturday is hosed because none of it connects. And it's like nobody tells anybody anything, and it takes a while for the tools to be updated to handle the updates, because when these social media avenues do an update, it's not like they don't feed the tools out to, okay, Friday, this is what you need to have in place, because we're going to make a change. They don't do that. They just make a change. And then you're like,
Yeah. And I feel like they themselves are also testing on people.
You think?
Yeah. I mean, I think there was one time where like Instagram like changed its whole like interface, but they did it on just some phones. Forgot what they did, something like really odd, and like I was like me and my friends were comparing phones, like what's happening. We looked it up, like, oh, Instagram's testing some new layouts on certain phones, and I'm like, what, like can this be like a like, why is this, how is this gonna be, maybe it's like somewhere to Reddit somewhere, but like the average person can't find it.
Right, and if you don't know or have another device to compare it against, you almost have no way of actually knowing that little tweaks have been occurring.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I feel so bad for everyone that has to, like, if they're creating content, like live streaming content, and they just have a quick, they can't connect or they can't make it work, or or running certain ads, like we've noticed, like, oh, we have to tweak it a little like this because this has been changed. And yeah.
Oh yeah, I was doing something and it didn't like a word I had in the description, and it wouldn't post. And I'm like, what? And I had to like go through and figure out what word is it that you don't like, you know? But that's the nature of the business, and what works on Facebook doesn't necessarily work on YouTube, and works differently on Instagram, and works. I mean, you probably know that even better.
Yeah, I mean, like I see people like, yeah, can we just post everywhere? I'm like, I mean, you can, but your TikTok stuff is not going to be the best on LinkedIn. Like, there's certain, like, depends on who you're trying to pull. But I'm very specific. Like, I want my LinkedIn to have my final products or just clean stuff. Then I want the TikTok to be like behind the scenes, silly, more in-house staff. Then I want my Instagram to be more artistic and just some of the just collaborative posts with the artists we work with and other creatives. It's just like each one, and every person has their own goal and preferences. You can totally like, I'm going to put all my crazy videos on LinkedIn, TikTok, and Instagram, same videos everywhere. That's totally fine. I just know that there's a certain like tone that are on these platforms, and I respect them. I don't want people to first meet me like, opening, jumping out of a box and showing them my new light gear. Like that's not how maybe people on LinkedIn will laugh, but I mean, that's not how I want to jump into that platform. Just being a woman and being young, it just comes out weird. But if I do it on TikTok, it's like, oh, that's hilarious. I love this light. That's so cool. And they'll ask questions and how it is. And, people on LinkedIn are not always filmmakers, so they're not going to care about the light anyways. So, yeah.
Yeah, different. You're saying different things to different audiences. And that does make a lot of sense in terms of, playful content versus creative content versus business-like content. And, it's always, it's like if I go to a business meeting, I'm not going to be wearing my swim trunks,
Everyone will notice you. That's for sure.
That's true. It may have the right effect if that was the effect I wanted to have. In terms of like, production tools to create these verticals, well, like, you mentioned Canva before in terms of actually having now a distribution calendar, but is Canva your go-to choice for creating a reel or a short, or do you use like different tools for different types of reels?
Yeah, so we use the Adobe suite, mainly Photoshop and Premiere. Sometimes we'll go into the platform DaVinci, but that's what we primarily use. Canva is fun for like maybe the thumbnail we create for the video that the client, we'll post for the client, because all the logos and everything are perfectly organized. We already have templates ready. But for the YouTube, we just like the more hands-on, or not the reels. We like to have the more hands-on sound design and that element that we can't really do on other platforms.
And you sound like you've taught yourself a lot of these tools.
Kind of, yeah. I did go to UNT for media arts, but most of everything was as far as it was self-taught, or I did like mentorships with people in the community where I just shadowed them and learned from them for a while. So yeah, most of this is self-taught. And if I'm like, I'm not sure how to do this, I'll bring in someone that does, as far as like, hey, I understand, Instagram and stuff, but you're a pro. You do it all the time. You know what? I don't mind, giving you like that half portion. I handle this portion, and we actually bring in results.
Right. So, bring in an expert when an expert is needed.
Yeah, and it just makes you better, right? It just, when you are collaborating, a lot of times in this industry, a lot of people like to do it by themselves. So they say like, there is no budget for another person, and there really isn't. But my goal is not hey, make money now. My goal is create as much as I can, create the quality content and brand relationships now, and call it an investment. And hopefully over the years, like I have a community of people I work with, build,
Right.
and they never leave us. So yeah, so I just feel like that is what I've realized. It's not, and it's hard. You want to make the money now. Like, oh, this would look so great if I just handled it all, and I know I can, but it's like it's not. You're not gonna. I don't know. You can just do a lot more if you work together. And it's more fun. You get new ideas.
Well, I think you also hit upon a really important factor in terms of people doing this is that there's only so much time in the day. And you can't be looking at the big picture if you're handling all the little pictures, So being able, I think what you're saying, and you can, tell me if I'm right or not. Being able to hand stuff off allows you to take on more things. You get to delegate certain tasks.
Yes, exactly. And you get to make sure they, like, you're like double checking your content versus just like throwing it out. You're cleaning it. It's like a final tuned. It's like perfected. Rather than like, oh, I just did this, da, 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 like all night I finished all of these, and I think they're great. And I show it to someone on my team. They're like, you misspelled that word? And I was like, oh. And then they're like, hey, by the way, I think the sound effect kind of is off over there, or something doesn't seem right. Why don't we add this sound? And that's the beauty, I guess, of that. Yes, you are, delegating, but you're actually just totally leveling up, what you can bring.
Adding a second set of eyes or a third set of eyes and ears to make sure something doesn't go through that you didn't necessarily want to go through.
Yeah, and it just makes the client. I always want the client to be like, "Wow, thank you, this is awesome," versus like, "Yeah, this is good," but they don't know what's bothering them because they don't know, film. They're like, "Why is the audio?" They can't figure it out. It's just you sleep better at night.
Yeah. So, going from college to where you are now, how would you take that process? How would you describe that process? Because you're pretty much your own agency at this point, right? And, there has to be a transition from I don't yet have these clients to now I do have these clients. How does that progress for you?
I'm still in the growth stages. Like I'm not like, hey, we're settled and I still feel like we are getting by stage wise, but the journey is beautiful. We've created some really cool stuff. Maybe we didn't make bank with it, but we made I think overall we've made some really like cool videos and content that I never had, even though I had access to a lot of equipment and teams, I never did in college. I didn't have this, most of the time I applied for like the camera role or the director's role, someone else would get it, right? Because it's like they have more experience. They've been doing it in high school and stuff. Even though you've been shooting a little, you're not like the pro. And some people come to college with some pro experience. So I never thought I could get into camera or lighting. I directed a lot of my own personal shorts, and that's how I taught myself. But it took a wall to hit, like where my brother was low-key my hype man. We founded the company together, and he was like, I'll act, you shoot, and let's just make some fun stuff. And that was the energy, and we rode with it, till now. And it's really great because now I'm like, to find the clients is like every day, all the time, just trying to connect with people and seeing where their needs are and adapting and bringing on different people so I can, make them, get the client, but also get them where they want to get. And that's where the collaboration goes.
And where do you find your clients?
Funny enough, a lot of people we've found, my brother, I go out, I'll network and stuff, and I'll talk to people. My brother would go to a dance class, and he would just dance, and they talk to him a little, and boom, we got a client. It's really random. So I would say I think it's like time and place. It's just, unfortunately, I hate this. I hate saying this because I hate hearing it when I ask people. But it's where you are, and it's a little luck-based factor. I wish I could, because I feel like what I can offer is I have the connection to offer a lot more, but I don't know how to toss it out, without putting in, $5,000 to market.
Yeah, it is definitely a challenge, and there are some people. It sounds like your brother has a good vibe about him, and he's able to like make those connections, and then next thing you know, hey, and all of a sudden it goes to but it may not go and be a business connection. It could just be a great conversation, but that he is able to see a possible connection and reach into it and make it into something, that's a real talent right there.
I agree. He's a people's person. His goal is like to connect with people, and I think in that connection, he finds a need, and then he will connect me, and yeah, we will help them with that need. So it's
and then you are sort of like the hub of a wheel, and you have all these different connections to help you make it happen for that client.
Yes. Though most of like the scripting and writing and shooting and editing, now I'm like, I have, I just keep listing names. I have Alex. She's awesome. She's a badass director. She's amazing. And she's a crazy editor. We work together a lot, and she edits, and we kind of go bounce back and forth. I'll start it, she'll finish it, or she'll start it and I finish it. But we have this like kind of flow that's been really good. And yeah, so it's, yeah.
How do you find the people that you build this great connection with?
Alex, we found dancing. So that is another funny thing. The circle goes back to dancing. We met her at a club, but which was really funny, which is crazy because I have tons of friends from film school, and just never like, we stay connected, we hang out, but there's never like, hey, I really want to edit for you, or I want to do this, I want to do that. And I'm like, well, sure, I'll pay you, I'll connect you, let's work together and do it. But she just, it just happened, and we're like, this is awesome. Sorry, what was your question?
No, I mean, I've done that as well. You meet someone and you meet them as a person first, and you build that connection as a person, and then it just so happens that there's a good working relationship too.
Yes. And I find when I find like people I connect with, I do go, not often, but 4, 5, 6 times a year. I used to go to like networking events. Usually I'll try to go to one like women oriented, and I'll just, talk a little. And when you're a filmmaker, you already kind of, stand out. And then on top of that, I'll talk to them, ask them about their company, their story, and just kind of hang out with them. And sometimes that turns into something, but that at least connects me to, one person might remember me and, connect me here. It's never like super direct, but it can be like from here to there. Like they'll know someone that's like, I really need social media. And they'll come out, they'll be like, hey, I remember I met you. And so that's worked a lot. So networking events, just going out, leaving the house, talking to people. I think those are the 2 biggest things.
So here's a question. You work in social media. You leverage social media to help other people and businesses. But yet you're saying that the people and the connections you make are in person.
Yes, we do meet people. So Shrey does all the Shrey dances, and he connects them. I'm on my phone, so I don't really go out a lot. So I would say social media, I find people, but I'm not a business, I'm not selling a product, if that makes sense. All the followers I have are mostly filmmakers. My social media is behind the scenes and like more arts related. I'm not like, right, here's my production, here's my services, my packages. In fact, people on social media don't even know we do social media. That's like, and that might be a faulting trait, but I know like 99% of my followers are filmmakers.
Right.
I see them. I know that. It's just, I am myself on social media. It's transparency of who I am. And then when I go out and meet people, then I kind of tag in that we do social media and stuff like that. But that is something we have run ads, of like, hey, we do social media. and that was cool. We got some conversations going, but at the end of the day, I personally find that you have to do the networking. You can't do it all on social. I would never recommend my clients like, hey, use me and you'll get no. Like, I tell them, like, you have to tie it in with like these networking events, or, you know, go out, do your thing, be your person. You cannot you can't stay at home or stay in a room and, you know, grow.
So social media isn't the complete solution. It's part of an overall marketing campaign or a whole effort.
Yes. And sometimes I'm a big thinker. I get worried when I'm like, okay, I'm talking. I'm like, wait, I didn't get a chance to think it out. So I was like, okay, sometimes that happens. But when it comes to like the funneling element, a lot of times you network with people, but where do they find you? Like, how do they keep in touch with your persona? And I have this like thing I tell people, you got to make people fall in love with you before they even purchase from your business. If you can, oh, I met this person or this company, or I had this connection, or someone falls in love with you, your videos or your personality or something by your posting, and then boom, runs into you, then that's, I mean, it's a beautiful, when that happens, it's very successful when the two collide.
I can agree. I've had the same thing where I would go to a production meeting or something like that, and somebody would be talking about like, oh, I've followed your media because I write about streaming media. Do videos about streaming media, and people would be like, oh yes, I followed your videos and everything. So they know me and they know a bit of my expertise, but they don't know me as a person yet. And it's completing that last little bit, meeting you as a person, having a conversation, where you get to have a dialogue with them, and it's not just me speaking in a video where they can't interact. And that seems to like complete the whole picture for people. And then they're like, yeah, I need somebody that can do this. Now that I've met you and I know how you are as a person, I mean, I already know your stuff, but now that I've met you as a person, I feel that we can do business together. That's it seems to me that's what it seems to be, completing that little circle.
Yeah, and I think one of the good examples is you. So if someone randomly reached out to me and said, hey, let's talk in this, I'm like, wait, who are you? What's going on? Like, I want to talk with my friends. I want to talk with, I'm just like, I don't know who this person is or what's going on. But for the last couple of months, I've been seeing your posts pop up on my feed. So I've been seeing them, and I'll read some of them. So like, watch them. And that's how, when you reached out to me, I was like, oh, okay, I kind of know this person. Though I've never met them, I don't know how many mutual friends we have. I know of their, persona, their personality a little, just by the information I saw on LinkedIn.
Right. And just like you were saying with your Instagram post, it's sort of like you have to put yourself out in an honest and transparent manner, because I think people today, they're very quick to notice when something is like a superficial, like, everything is all wonderful, this is all great, and they meet you in person and, man, I'm just so tired, and you're a grumpy person. They notice, oh yeah, okay, so the fake face he puts on is not who he actually is. They figure that out really fast.
Yeah, and that's what social media is. No one posts like all their tragedies, I think Facebook is more like the negative sometimes, but Instagram for some reason is always like, look at me, I did this, I did that. But even when I posted last on LinkedIn, I'm like, I put like, it's a great ride, but it hasn't been easy. Like, emphasizing it is, a daily struggle, but I wouldn't trade it for anything, kind of. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And that goes to your point where you're saying different ways of telling the story for different venues, because Instagram wants to hear a different story than LinkedIn. LinkedIn wants to hear your learnings, whereas Instagram is sort of like, just make me happy.
Yeah, I'm having a bad day. Make me laugh, like, educate me. Give me a life hack, And I mean, that's TikTok too. TikTok is all just life hacks, really, and just fun dance and animal videos. Like that's what, and people love it. They, especially during the pandemic, it took off because of that need. I mean, my dad's on TikTok all the time, and he's sending me all these health videos. Like, oh my gosh, you should try this or try that, and it's like, or like travel videos, and I'm like, when are we gonna go to these places? Like, what is this? But it just makes people. You could tell what their passions are at. Everyone sends you what they're passionate about, and not everyone works in their passion.
True. And sometimes we're a little busy working on work. If you were to give advice to someone who looks at social media, has fun with social media, and says, I think I can do this as a job, and sits there and says, but I don't know where to get started. I don't know, like, what comes first, the chicken or the egg, the work or the client, what advice would you give to someone who's like, this is something I have fun doing and I want to try and pursue this as a career. Where do I need to go from this?
Yeah. So I think if someone's starting off, I think something very powerful and also humbling is you do actually help out. Like find an organization you really like and really connect with and start, if they are small, ask them if you can take on their social media and, learn from it. Like, help them out and have a platform. Because by building your own social media, you're not really like growing and like you're not, yes, you're growing yourself and stuff, but how much more powerful is it if you're like, hey, I love, dogs. I'm going to work with my local shelter and take on their Instagram. Now you're motivated. Now you have, like almost a clientele where if you do a good job, they'll actually take you on. I think that's a really, in the film industry, we do a lot of early years of like, you do a lot of, as we call like, free gigs, mentorships and stuff where you just hop on for like 50 or 100 a day and you just kind of, not really 50, it's like 150 a day. You got to survive. But, you do that or you shadow people if you've never been in that, specific job and you learn. And then after a while, you're in that field. People know you. You've been working for a while and you start seeing the money come. It's not like, this is not the big bucks industry, but you're making your own money. So yeah, I find that super helpful and yeah, start, connecting to local people that need the help and just offer them like a 4 to 6 month plan. Don't just do 1 month and build the content, the photos, try, if you, whatever camera you have, shoot it and, play with it and then use that kind of as a portfolio and a learning experience.
Yeah. And, I've done that myself, for local nonprofits. And the other aspect that I found that was a great takeaway is being challenged on the work. Because it's like, if I do it for myself, I do it and I go, okay, it looks great. Whereas if I do something for a client, they could say, that's not what I'm looking for. And there's pushback and learning how to not just deal with pushback, but come up with a different idea. And, you have to keep going and push through that. I find that is a great learning experience too, because having a client that then wants something that's not your first idea is a great way to give you incentive to like really think outside of your normal scope of thinking. Yeah.
And you get criticism, which is, this is awesome. That's like you gotta like, sometimes you're like, oh no, like that budget wasn't there for that type of criticism. But, depending on what it is, but criticism is criticism. And you gotta take it in and that's like, it's priceless. If everyone's like, that's awesome. And you're like, you think you're the best. And then you go and you're like, I'm not growing as much. And, it's not going to help you. You got to, so you're exactly right. And that's awesome that you did that because I think that's a great way to help out. But hopefully you can use that on your website and stuff. And you can, ask your client for like a review or a referral if they ever see anyone and try to, tell them your story and see if they can help you out.
Right. That is actually a great. It's not just learning the work. It's not just learning how to deal with a client, but then you get the portfolio. You know, if it is good work and they like it and it works and it's effective, you get portfolio material. But also then you get someone who can refer you and give you that recommendation on Google or whatever it is. And so I think a lot of people are like, well, I don't want to work for free. I mean, you're not working for free. You're working for exposure bucks.
If you're like really in the beginning, if you've been doing it for a couple of years, like no way. But if you're like, I don't know what to do, I want to get into this. I've been doing some posting for like my parents or myself or someone else, a friend, but kind of just, on the side. If you're like, this is what I want to do, then I think that, one-time sacrifice in a certain field is good.
Oh yeah, I mean, I might even say, it's like, well, like you said, the animal shelter, but then also finding another organization that's very different, because they'll have a different mindset. Like if someone wants fun exposure on Instagram for, strays and everything, but someone else wants business content. Oh, okay, that's a whole different mindset, and you have to start thinking, putting on a different hat for different clients. That's a great learning tool too.
I agree. And comedy. Even though if you add something fun at the shelter, the business, you got to add something fun too. And some of the business clients are like, no, I want to keep it like this. And I'm like, now think about it. So who's going to watch this? Will they be really happy after they watch this? And I guess that is something you have to kind of like try to persuade. Not every time you can, but I'm like, let's just try some comedic ideas, and we'll, try this is the brand, but here's some creative kind of silly ideas, and let's see how they do. Because at the end of the day, you want to bring in, exposure and results, and yeah.
Well, and that also makes the job a whole lot more fun too.
yeah, exactly. I agree. I like that portion. Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for the opportunity to have this conversation, highlight the work that you're doing, and if people wanted to find out more about you, where would they look?
Yeah, so Priyanka Garcia, my company is Penny Cam Films. I can do this, wait. Penny Cam Films. You can find us, on Instagram or the website, which is just pennycamfilms.com. You can scan the QR code if you want to see our reels and a little bit more about us. But yeah, there you go. Thank you so much, Anthony, for having me and talking with me. I actually kind of want to know more about you too and your story, because I know we talked a lot about myself, but no.
Well, that's what I do in my series. It's all about highlighting you. And, again, thank you for being on today's show. I think there's a lot of really good information there, but I think the best takeaway I have is it's about relationships, whether it be at school, in production groups, or with the people around you, or even just if you go to that dance class. It's that building relationships with people can help you out in so many ways. My name is Anthony Barocas for Stream Tech Conversations. Thanks for watching.